ScouterStan. Let's talk a little bit about standing back a little bit from the youth. This is a huge subject that was brought up on the YouTube channel. There was a question there about getting the level or the balance in a successful program by allowing the adults to step back from the youth leadership. So first off, let's understand the role of youth leadership. It's important to emphasize the youth-led program within scouting. It's important that youth leadership is coached and mentored to help build confidence and problem-solving skills, and this gives them independence. Now, there are certain signs when youth are ready to lead. They can actually demonstrate, you've seen it, the ability to make decisions. And this skill is critical to the youth being able to take on more responsibility. When a scout shows signs of being able to plan a meeting and carry it through, and also they have a confidence and they can communicate with their peers and be understood, being able to explain very complex things in a way that their peers can understand. They're also able to ask questions of the adult leadership and be able to communicate those answers back. Now, when should adult leaders step in? And the main reason would be a safety concern. One of the primary goals of all scout leaders is safety of all the scouts. If a safety protocols are not being acknowledged and adhered to, the adult needs to step in to make sure that the safety concern is addressed. Now, as a side note, I recommend, unless it's something that is a real emergency, that this needs to be addressed with the youth without the peers of that youth judging them and addressed on the side so that they can come back to their peers and actually remind everybody of those safety guidelines. This prevents any kind of bullying or humiliation of that youth. It's important that that's always thought of. That's one of those safety things that all leaders need to be thinking about. Now, the second reason would be extreme conflicts and a total breakdown of some kind of leadership. If the youth leader is completely overwhelmed and unable to resolve a serious issue, it's time to bring in the adult leadership. And this should be kept limited and try to make sure that you understand before you try to correct. It is very important for your communication skills to start working with that youth. Give them the gentle guidance and coaching that they need, and then allow them to jump back into that situation if they can and as needed. Now, as adult leaders, we're constantly solving problems. The youth should be allowed to do this too. We all make mistakes, and we learn from them. But stepping back, and not away, but just stepping back, promotes personal growth of the youth. But it's also important that the adult leadership provide constructive feedback. And we've talked about this feedback in a previous podcast, which was advice for a new scoutmaster. That was something that we did in the past, so definitely go back through the catalog and find that if you'd like more information about feedback. Now, the balance of support and autonomy is very important for the adult leaders, and they should advise and do mentorships and coaching behind the scenes. Now, this is all within YPT, so you need to work as a team of 2 adult leaders for every interaction with the youth. The youth leaders need to be the ones out front, on stage, in the spotlight. Find that balance in guiding and letting go. Transitional leadership is very important to cover and manage any transition between adults leaderships and youth leadership, particularly for large-scale events and projects. This comes up all the time at Eagle Scout projects. The Eagle candidate is running that project. They're the boss, not the adults. They are supposed to be able to communicate and manage that project. So this can be very transitional for a lot of the youth to actually start working with adults directly within a large-scale project. And that's why the Eagle Project is so vital to that rank advancement. Now, this is a big one. A lot of adult leaders need to respect youth ownership of their troop. They may be the scoutmaster or assistant scoutmaster. They might even be the committee chair. But the youth have a youth program, and they're there, the adults are there, to support and manage the behind-the-scenes things that go on within the unit. The youth have chosen a leader. From their peers, the youth have chosen a leader, and that needs to be respected. There are signs of overstepping your bounds. When you discover that you're micromanaging activities instead of relying on your youth leadership to take care of things, that is a big indication. Another warning sign is answering questions that youth leadership could answer themselves. Many adult leaders revolve around a constant repeating of ask your patrol leader. Ask your senior patrol leader that question. An additional overstepping would be making decisions for the youth without their input. Now, these are three big signs that there's something going on where you need, as an adult leader, to step back. There are times when a committee may make a decision without youth input that may be in regards to either finances, the ability to do things, or a safety concern. But always keep in mind, the entire purpose of scouting is to allow the youth to run their youth meetings. They should never be interrupted on a regular occasion from adult leaders. It's okay if the youth invite adult leaders to help out with certain things or give instructions on some things, but this should not be the norm. These signs of overstepping are really the adults getting in there and being a roadblock for the success of their youth leaders. It's best to step back. And we do so much that it's very hard when we need to look at the situation and really think about helping by letting go. Scouting is a safe place to fail because we're focused on safety and those behind-the-scene things. The youth can really step out and make a difference. So think about your own situation with your unit. It is so important that we're there to help, mentor, and coach, not run the show. And I really appreciate all that you do for scouting. We couldn't do it without you. And I look forward to seeing you on the trail.